Welcome to Mindful Mondays. My name is Dr. Dan Eisenberg for the Towson University Counseling Center, and I am here to talk with you about the 9 attitudes of mindfulness defined by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. This video will focus on attitudes 1 through 3, non-judging, acceptance, and patience. The human brain is wired to make judgments. It's a function of survival. We need to judge whether a stimulus or situation is a threat. We need to categorize our environment to know what to do next. The problem, however, is in our modern times, we very rarely need to make judgments for our safety or survival. Our brains are still wired to make quick judgments, but they often don't serve us in a useful way. Advertisers, for example, work incredibly hard to force our brains to make associations between their product and positive feelings. But if we stop and think about it, a gecko with a British accent is irrelevant to car insurance. So non-judging is the act of intentionally paying attention to this process of categorizing. It's an attempt at making an internal, subtle process more overt. And when you can do that, you earn the freedom to make choices despite external forces, like advertisers. Acceptance is about understanding that we all have limited ability to affect our circumstances. This links to a concept from statistics called variance. Think about doing poorly on an exam. You might think you did poorly because you didn't study enough, but that might not be true. Sure, the amount of time you study is probably a significant factor in determining your performance on your exam, but it doesn't account for 100% of the variance. Other factors include your study environment, your mood when studying, your feelings about the exam material or the class, other things you were thinking about or being affected by in your life, how similarly the exam questions were to the material you studied, and how exactly you studied it. All those factors and more account for a percentage of that variance as well. We can never account for 100% of the variance that explains an outcome. There is always error and unknowns. That means if we cannot know everything that contributes to an outcome, we cannot completely control that outcome. That also means we have to take responsibility for the part we play in that outcome, to be honest with ourselves about how much variance we may have control over, and accept what is. First, we remove judgment. Then we accept our limited control over a situation. And now we wait. We recognize that things we want or hope for will not necessarily happen in our ideal timeline. If we cannot understand all the factors that contribute to how something happens, we cannot expect the outcome exactly as or when we want it. Non-judgment, acceptance, patience, all are skills learned over time. Just like everything you know how to do, you've gotten better at it the more you've done it. Such is the case with mindfulness.